Welcome everybody to Ignite the podcast. Today we have as a guest Abraham Zarate. He's Mr. Villanueva himself. Windows, doors, I mean, you name it. This guy started from the bottom and now he's here. So Abraham, welcome, brother. Welcome to Ignite the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
No, brother. Look, quick question for you. I mean, we kind of want to know a little bit of your background and where you started and where you're at today. But where did you grow up, or where's your background? What's your background, brother? That is, first of all, eres Latino, Mexicano, right?
Latino, mexicano, nacido en México,
Okay.
En el DF, pero somos de Guerrero nosotros.
Okay.
A los 5 años vine aquí a los Estados Unidos, fui a la escuela, elementary, high school, middle school, high school, y como un semestre de colegio.
Oh, you're a college dropout.
Exactamente. And went to college. After that, started working in the construction field since high school. I started working like under the table as a dishwasher. From there, I mean, believe it or not, in high school, I had like $2,000 in my pocket already. And from there, it was just getting my legal status into the United States. From there, I've had a cousin working at the time at the 99-cent store as a manager. I knew that they were hiring, and I just wanted to put that Social Security to work right away. And I was there for I won't say like a year or so.
What age was that?
Honestly, I was high school. I won't say, because I was working in high school years. I won't say like 16, 17 years old, okay. Around there.
Yeah.
And once I graduated high school, I just started. I didn't have too many jobs, but I went to construction with my dad.
Okay.
I was doing actually drywall. I was doing drywall with him. I didn't like it, but then he oriented me to a higher paying job inside that business, which was like the scaffolding. I liked that more because it was more traveling, different cities, doing different projects every day, picking up, setting up. And then from there, I got into the business, the window business. As everything, I started from the bottom. Nothing came easily, honestly. And from there, it was just grinding it out, starting in the manufacturing business, cutting pretty much glass orders from scratch. And to the point where I got really good at that. Cutting 80 to 100 windows a day, cutting ahead of schedule, always trying to be ahead, even better. And I want to say that type of person where I always wanted the manager or the owner to know that I'm trying very, very hard,
You're doing your best.
Just so I can get that dollar or that
at the time raise, that little bit of a raise that you can get.
A little bit of a raise.
Back then it's probably like 50 cents, 25 cents.
At that time it was 99 was like a $9 at that time.
Yeah.
I think that was my highest I got there.
Wow.
And then from there into the construction was like $12. Windows, I started like at $10, and then from there I got up to $14 at that time. But that was about 10 years ago, where my wage was.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm working 50, 60 hours, just trying to get a good paying check every week, and doing site installations with the sales reps inside the company. So that's how I started to learn the business. Where I'm trying to do the side jobs with, or coming as a helper at the side jobs.
Wow. So you pretty much you came in, so you got here without papers. You came into the U.S. without papers.
Exactly.
You came ready to work. You just pretty much came in and wanted to work and get yourself situated. And
correct. Yeah. I just as you grow up, you see a lot of people that are much more wealthier or stable, and you kind of want to put yourself in that situation. Like, I would like to have all that. Yeah. And it's enjoy a good living life, a nice home as yours, and as well. In my mentality, I always wanted to get married and not have my wife work, and that was a big goal that I did have as well early on. Yeah. I took responsible for my wife, and and it's a
You think it's a man's job to be, you know, to take responsibility and
I'm very Hispanic, like old school. I would say, like, you gotta set the house rules. You gotta you got to have like those old traditions, like she has to wake up early in the morning, get ready, get your lunch ready for the day, things like that. So I mean, now it's little different, but it's I still have that old school mentality where it's like I want to be very well respected within the family, outside your family, friends, outside of their circles as well.
Yeah, I think when you say that, it's like you know, like they say, men, we look for respect. We look for respect before we look for love.
Correct.
Right. And
I 100%.
You agree with that?
I do.
Yeah. I think it's true. I mean, I think overall, you know, that's one thing I kind of share with mine as well. Is like, you know, as long as that respect is there, you know, it's like everything else is secondary. You know, I think for us, you guys look for love, women look for love, we look for respect.
Right. Even I'm very traditional. I believe a man's handshake means a lot. Si es un trato, y lo vas a cumplir, you know. So
that has changed a lot, brother. That has changed a lot. Like a man. Like your word is bond, right? A man's word, you handshake on it. That's it. You know what I mean? That's all you really need. And nowadays, it's like you need a lot more than that.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
But honestly, I have built my name on top of that type of respect, and till this day, I believe I've been doing very well, very well for myself.
When you say like that type of respect, meaning like you know, having integrity, being, you know, showing up and
correct,
and keeping your word, basically when it comes to business or everything in general, right?
Correct. 100% within the family, 100% within the work. If there's situations where you need to be somewhere with a certain type of person at work or etc., show up. Yeah.
Just show up, right? Just keep your word and make sure that you do what you're supposed to do. A lot of people have that difficult time nowadays. You know, it seems like after COVID where, you know, they feel like everything is a given, right? They don't have to show up. They don't have to earn nothing. They just, you know, hey, if I got here, be thankful that I'm here. And I blessed you with my presence. And then you're like, what? Like you didn't do anything for me, you know? But I think nowadays that's everybody's mentality where they feel like they're owed something, right? And obviously you grew up having to earn it, like you said, at a young age. I started at a young age as well, like 17, I think, as well, or 16.
Yeah.
Actually, no, 15 and a half. I had a school permit
really?
to be able to get a job, and I was doing the same thing, lavaplatos, washing dishes in the back of the Pueblo Loco so nobody could see me at 15 and a half years old. Right after I would get out of school and go and clock in and start washing dishes.
Me acuerdo. My mom, she didn't want me to get my driver's permit, because she thought that que me iba a volver loco porque iba a tener un carro, and that's not the case. I mean, the first time I had a cash up front, I went halves with my dad with my first car. So I gave him $2,000, and then he pretty much
was the car worth more than $2,000, or he fronted you?
It was $4,000. The car was
we bought it. He did $2,000, and then you had to put in the $2,000.
Exactly.
Did you have to pay him back the other $2,000? Or
honestly, I didn't. You
got lucky, man. When I ended up doing it with my dad, he was like, "I'm gonna get the car, but you got to pay me back for it." And then I would put rims on it. I had to pay him back for the rims. I would have to pay, you know, the sound system. And then me being a knucklehead at a young age, I got in trouble as a juvenile, and then when I had to pay for those attorney fees, guess where it came out of? We got to sell your car.
Yeah.
So it was like, it cost me pretty much that's one thing that they taught me at a young age was like, hey, choices that you make are going to cost you. They're not going to cost us. They're going to cost you.
Most definitely. Honestly, I was always, since I can remember middle school, que te portes bien, porque te va a afectar. Estamos trabajando en tu legal status. Pórtate bien. Luckily, I never got into trouble. I always been a good kid, always doing the right thing. I mean, to others, it's a bad thing when you do a good thing, you know?
Yeah.
But
Were you always kind of like kind of quiet, so you never got into any trouble, any fights, anything, any crazy?
No, I mean, I know I'm not a fighter, but I mean, if it gets to the point, like I just gotta stand some ground, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just other than that, I don't look for it. I really don't. Those situations I try to I try to avoid them because it's not my problem.
Yeah.
Y honestly, it was me just trying to be out of trouble. Trying to stay out of trouble.
Making sure that you got your papers right, because you're like, I'm not trying to jeopardize this.
Yeah, I'm not trying to jeopardize anything. In other words, I was trying to do better all the time. Trying to do better, be better. I was trying to be someone. I was always trying to work very hard to make something out of myself.
So you would say that you've always been like, you've always had that fire inside of you, like you got here and you want to get better, you want it more?
From a very young age, I want to say from the time I was 15 years old when I started working, I felt money, I touched money, and I liked it. I liked having a couple $100 in my pocket.
What drove you though? Like, what do you think? What was the was it the stuff that money got you? Or, what was it?
At first, it was more like the things that money got you: clothes, nice shoes, the things that matter at that time, you know?
Expensive tennis shoes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You weren't a tennis shoe guy. You were more like a boot guy. I was a tennis shoe guy. So my parents were like, oh, you want the black tops? You got to pay for them.
But at that time, it was all about the Vans. It was all about the Vans. You would see me with black, white Vans only, nothing other than that. So, yeah, at the time, it was just like the things it got you. I mean, over time, you started to see money's different. My money's a different thing. Now,
what was your first car? If you know what I mean.
It was a 2000 Honda Civic EX. It had 20 or 22-inch rims. They were
big old rims, or you think like 18-inch? Maybe the 18-inch, or like 17-inch rims, because it was a little car.
It was a little car.
Honda Civic, right?
I think it was. I don't remember. I think it was 18. I think I still have pictures of the vehicle.
2000 Honda Civic though.
Yeah, 2000 Honda Civic, very nice. A very nice glossy white body. Body was very modern, very well taken care of. The glass was very clear, so you can see everything inside. Stick shift. Well, everybody wanted to drive stick shift at the time. It had a sunroof as well, so it was for a first car, it was a very nice car.
So you had rims on it already, or you bought it with rims on it?
Yeah, I bought it with rims. I never, honestly, till the day that I've owned a vehicle, I have not put anything into a car. I always liked them originally how they are.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, I didn't. Every time I would get a car, I would want to like throw a sound system in it or throw some rims on them.
And that vehicle,
that was back then. Now I don't. Now I just want it. I want to make sure that I get the car that's worth the value and that I can keep it as is.
Pero ahí te va a ir. Tanta envidia que la gente tiene, que no te gusta tener cosas buenas en ti. Ese carro me lo robaron 3 veces.
Oh, they stole it 3 times.
3 times they stole that vehicle.
Wow.
And after the third one, it was just a total. Yeah, so I got the cash out for it, got another car, but it's just unbelievable.
Well, it was a magnet, dude. It looked good, like you're saying. So la gente lo quería, and they're easy to steal. Not telling you should go out there and steal a Honda, but back then they were easy to get into them and take them. Yeah.
After the first time, it was just a kill switch. I knew where it was, but the second time they actually pushed it out with another truck, and then first time they stole it. I put the kill switch. Second time, I was at a party. It got stolen from there. I had to go get the car all the way up in Barstow. Honestly, it was a headache. And then the third time, it was at another party, and it was a total.
What city was that in where all that was happening?
It was in Paris.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, not here. We're not in Paris, but it was in Paris.
No, yeah,
it was
locally.
In the Inland Empire. I got you.
So yeah, it's just that car. It brought good memories, but at the same time, like I learned my lesson with those type of
vehicles. The Honda Civic.
With the Honda Civic.
I didn't get so lucky, man. My first car was a Toyota Tercel, a little 2-door Toyota Tercel. I think I should say that was my decent car. I think I had a Nissan Sentra back then as well. So the one that I got the rims for and the sound system was a Tercel. The one I had to sell when I ended up in juvenile hall was that to pay for the attorney fees. And but yeah, man, I think it was definitely a good experience, to know that you had to earn it, right? My parents got me started at a young age because I would I like the pumps, the old shoes that came out, like the black tops or certain shoes that Reebok was coming out with. I was over there trying to buy them, and they were like
Right.
$120 back then.
Right.
So they were like, "You're crazy! Like you got to start buying your own shoes." So they
Right.
put me to work. So I would work on the weekends too. I would work on the weekends, work during the after school, and then I remember in my senior year, I would even leave. I was already ahead of my credit, so I would leave early, to go to work, and then to make some more money. At the same time, I was trying to do the same thing. I was already hungry. I wanted to work and make money, and then I saw what money could do, right? Buy me good things, and at that point, once you skip over the shoes, you start looking into the cars, and then what's next, right?
Right.
What's next? So I think overall, I know you. I mean, obviously for me, with your entrepreneurship, like for me, it started at a young age. I don't know for you. I when I started working at like Pollo Loco, and I got to work at Food for Less. You know what I mean? My dad worked there too, so they both got me jobs. And I got to experience that atmosphere. I got to work at some warehouses, some different type of warehouses, and I got the experience of that too. And then just dealing with people, dealing with personnel, different management, and then just different really toxic environments. I didn't really like the environments. I thought it was like you said, I was always showing up, trying hard, to earn, my keep and trying to earn a little bit extra. And didn't feel appreciated, or
Right.
just being around other people that hated on you because you're doing more and they're telling you stop doing so much. You know what I mean? You don't need to be doing so much, and just like without intentionally trying to get hated on, right? But you would have just toxic problems. I think that really led me to want it even more, right? To like it ignited me to become an entrepreneur even more because I was like,
Right.
I don't like. For me, it has always been environment. Like I don't want to be in a bad environment. Like I want to build my own environments, and which is why I became an entrepreneur. Like the money is one thing, yeah, the money, but I knew that it was going to take the money to be able to create my own environment, right? So it's like if I'm tired of this, and if I can keep doing the same thing over and over again, then I'm going to keep getting the same result. I'm going to end up in another place working with the same, a whole nother set of group of people. And somehow or some way it's going to end up being toxic again, or it's going to be an environment that they put me into. I'm like, the only way to change this is if I change it myself. And
Right.
what was it for you? Like, what was it that made you want to like, hey, I want to become an entrepreneur. I want to do this, go on my own and just do this for myself. Because obviously you worked at multiple places as well.
Right. It was
I don't know what is it with Mexicanos too. We got to start with washing dishes. That's like always the go-to, right? You want to get to work, go wash some dishes.
Pero I didn't like it. I didn't like it, but I did it. I showed up. I gave it credits to my mom. She pushed me beyond my limits. She just didn't want me at the house pretty much.
Sitting around doing nothing.
Exactly.
I enjoyed it, man. When I was washing those dishes, I would put the music up in the back. Nobody could hear me, and I just had different type. I remember I would play banda recodo, like different, Spanish and English, and I would just mix it up. And I was out there washing dishes for hours.
It's funny you say that because I've never been that person with music, even as you mentioned it, that you don't like to drive around with music or anything like that. I don't either. I just like to sit in a peace, quiet vehicle and just drive and start thinking about
processing.
I
think that's what has changed with me is like it's more of a development thing, right? When you get to a certain stage, like you want to kind of focus more as an entrepreneur. You want to listen to audios. You want to or have peace of mind, be quiet, and now focus. Right? Hey, what's the next move? What's my next move? And analyze and kind of execute, right? So you're looking at the planning, you're looking at what's the next move, and then you're looking at how do I execute it, and then how do I get everyone else involved and everyone to have the same vision.
Right.
And so yeah, like if you're too busy listening to music and everything's a disaster outside of that car, then by the time you get to the next destination, you're still in the middle of a disaster. So it's like turn it off, figure out how to solve it, and then when you come in and you solve it.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's really what helps me. I don't know if that's the same thing with you, like just keeping the noise down.
It just helps me think, honestly, get a brighter aspect where I'm at, where I want to be. And once I have like a light bulb blink up on me, I first thing I call and start pushing on what needs to be done. I just have to go through the whole process of getting that information out to the correct person, so we can start to move
to the next thing. Yeah,
to the next thing. It's,
well, out of your business, I mean, what's one of the things? Because obviously you have operations, you have the installation, you have the ordering of the the custom windows and doors, and then you have the sales part, right? You have the sales, and then you have administration, paperwork, whatever the case may be. Out of all those departments, what's the one that you enjoy the most?
I like being in the sales.
Like
I like the sales because I'm up front, personal with the customer. I get to see what problems they have. I get to resolve their problems. I really get to resolve the problems on what they're looking for.
Yeah.
So that's something I really enjoy, and honestly, something I realized a couple years back. I enjoy. I don't know why, but the glass is just something that I enjoy cleaning. It's satisfying. It's something that
and you love. At the end of
it's
the
something
day,
I like. Even when I was at the manufacturing, cutting the glass, I liked it. Just snapping glass all day long, cutting orders. I mean, it's dangerous because you can cut yourself.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'd be like, man, I'm gonna cut myself. I'm not gonna mess with that.
Yeah, I like it. I can cut shapes. You name it, I can do anything with glass. So it's just.
I think that's what gives you an advantage. Sorry to interrupt you, but I wanted to say that.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's what gives you an advantage, that the product so well, like down to the T of like the rails and how it's compressed together and how it functions and how you cut it and how everything, like all the little details of the glass. Like, how can you go wrong with going with someone like your company, because you don't just install, the product in and out and how it functions and what it does. And like, if I want to get rid of sound, or if I want to get rid of, lighting, or if I want to get rid of certain things, that you exactly what type of glass, what it's going to take. And it's not just like me walking into Home Depot to some kid or some older retired man who's just working there to make make time fly.
Right.
That's just gonna be like, oh yeah, this one meets your measurements and this one or whatever, and it's just like they really don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
Not knocking Home Depot employees, but let's be real. Like, a lot of you guys don't know what you're talking about. So I'm just keeping it real. But yeah, I think with you, that's what gives you that advantage, over competitors and over anybody. It's just the fact that the product, not only know it, but you enjoy it. Like, you love it. You gotta love what you do. That's why it sounds so cliche, but it's like, it's true. You gotta love what you're doing.
I really do enjoy it. It's I don't want to say it's a hobby, it's a passion, but it's just I enjoy it. I like to do it. I like giving the results, results to the customer on what the product should actually look like, not some crooked window or where I can see any defects from far away.
Yeah.
So I just like to be very very aesthetic wise.
I think I went back to thinking about myself as a fixer too. Like, I started with fixing up cars, and then and then I ended up flipping and fixing up houses, and then I enjoyed the, getting the trash and then having to fix it all up, and then then getting into other businesses that are all like not doing so well, and now fixing them and then getting them to develop and build them.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've always enjoyed fixing. I think that's my enjoyment. You know what I mean? Like, when I coach somebody, or like yourself, or mentor, and then get to like show you the way and fix certain issues, certain problems, and then see the results, right? Seeing something like come from rags to riches, like they say, or something that's trash to a shiny diamond.
Right.
It's I enjoy it. I think that's one thing for me I've always enjoyed. It's like people talk about fixing up cars, how coming in trashy, then you fix them up, add rims, add this and that, make them a new look. Giving a house the same thing, a new look, or the properties. And then now it's like, for me, it's like now it's giving new families and new individuals like yourself, like a new look. Like, like being a complete different person, developing personally, spiritually, financially, just seeing it all come together is for me, it's like the new ignite, right? The new fire in me that's like, okay, this is it. I remember when I did my first, house, it was like, whoa, this is it. Oh, I'm gonna kill it. You know what I mean? And I'm killing it in this, or the cars. Same thing with the cars, and that was fun. We just had an OLG here the other night, and from Fast and the Furious, and just being able to see where life has taken me. And I started there on the streets, hustling, and trying to fix up people's cars and trying to go into different. I was working out of my parents' garage. You know what I mean? I didn't even have a shop, and I'm over here buying from other shops, kind of being the middleman. But those experiences kind of got me to where I'm at now. You know, that I didn't like having to be the middleman. I wanted somebody to give me direction, right? Tell me what to do next, or tell me where to go. How can I open my own place?
Right.
And they don't want to do that.
Right.
9 times out of 10, no one wants to really help you accomplish that for yourself. They're like, or they either don't believe in you, or they believe in you too much, where they don't want to see you shine.
Right.
They don't want to see you grow because they know you're going to take it to another level.
Right.
And I think I've seen that, more than once, not only in myself but in other individuals, where I see like, man, why haven't you been able to do this? Well, it's because people aren't willing to help me, right? They fear you, right? It's that fear. Yeah. Do you have fear of anything? Do you fear anything?
I fear of losing. Losing. I fear of. I honestly, I do fear. I fear of losing.
Losing what though? When you say fear, the fear of losing. When some people are like losing a family member, losing money, or going back broke. Is that
not broke? I mean, I've been broke before. I can overcome that. It's just the feeling when you know it's coming and you can't stop it. So that's the fear. But once that passes through, you start to kind of like adjust, get back up, climb, and then start just climbing that ladder up again. But that's honestly my biggest fear of losing again. And now with the family, so I just have more on my table where I need to make the proper decisions and get the proper the proper guidance of what's next.
Yeah.
So
it's important, especially when you have like well, here's the thing, like when you think about just your family, but then think about others, right? Other people that are going to depend on you,
most definitely,
that are depending on your company to pay their bills, and feed their families, and then something goes wrong with you, it's like it trickles down to everybody else.
Right.
And it's funny how people always talk about the pyramid, right? They're like everything. I remember this since being young and many years ago, like the pyramid scheme, and I'm like, why do people keep saying that? Like they still say it to this day, and I'm like, everything's a pyramid. Everything's on top. You have a CEO, and then you have everybody else underneath. And it's always that way. There's always going to be the masses at the bottom. You know what I mean? And the top gets lonely, but everybody relies on the top making that right decision, because if they don't make the right decision, that company is gone, and everybody underneath it is gone.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of people don't realize that. It's like determine where you're at, play your part, and win right along with the team. It's a team thing. It's not really a pyramid. I mean, even if it is, it's still a team, right? It's still a team. So you got to work together. Everyone work together and help each other. And I think overall, some people might be upset that they're at the bottom, but they never put in the effort to be at the top.
Absolutely.
And it's like it takes a lot to be at the top of that triangle. So, and it's funny because there's always those at the bottom that are talking about the top of the triangle. Like, oh, it's a scheme, mijo. Eso no sirve para nada. Es un triángulo. And it's like, I mean, it's just they don't understand, right? Their mind is broken.
Right.
I think that's one of the biggest things that I think for us como Mexicanos is trying to break that chain, right? And that barrier of like, just stay broken. Right, the mentality of like, oh, we're made to wash dishes, we're made to not that we don't do well at it, right? We're great, we're the best at washing dishes. I mean, we all start there, and then we become what we become. But it doesn't have to end there. And a lot of our people end up there for the rest of their lives, and they feel like that's the card that they were dealt, and they use that excuse for the rest of their life. Like, oh, this is just the card I was dealt. Like you said yourself, you got here with no papers, and now you have them, and now you're working, and now you have a company.
Right.
So you could have said back then, like, "Oh, this is the card I was dealt. Like, I'm made to wash dishes, and if I get a car, great. If I get a little place to rent, great. I'm winning."
Right.
And it's people's perspective of winning. Like, what is winning to you? What is winning in your life? Like, what are you doing? Because if you feel that you're winning, or you think that you're winning, but at the end of the day, when you lay on that bed, you feel like you're losing, and you wake up feeling like a loser, and you fell into depression, or you fall into depression. Guess what? You're not winning. You need to do something about it. You're getting too comfortable. And talk about being uncomfortable. People talk about, like doing things that are uncomfortable.
Right.
Like, it's uncomfortable to be broke. It's uncomfortable to be around the roaches. I've been around them. It's not comfortable to live around roaches. It's uncomfortable to be there. But it's like, I'd rather be uncomfortable doing what I'm doing now. I'm sure you're the same.
Right.
Than to be uncomfortable the way I was back then, which is walking into shelters, looking for food, with my mom and my sister and trying to, find a way to get through the next day, having my dad bring a branch home because we're getting into close to Christmas. And I remember my dad bringing a branch home. He brought a tree with it wasn't even a tree. It didn't even have leaves in it. And my mom did her best to try to make ornaments out of stuff just to hang even some of our toys, or whatever little things to put on there and just make us feel a little bit of that Christmas spirit, right? And it's just but what's crazy is that those little things, we enjoyed those moments. I'm not gonna say we didn't enjoy them as kids, me and my sister, but it also opened our eyes, to feel like it doesn't only have to be at the department store. I can actually own one of these trees, right? That now we own, but back then was impossible, right? And so it doesn't have to end there. I think it's the biggest misconception out there for our people, nuestra gente mexicana, Latinos, they think that that's it. Ahí tiene que terminar. Ahí llegamos, ahí que ya estamos, and ahí nos quedamos. No, you just stop doing the same thing. Change. Do something different. Get uncomfortable.
Right.
You think it's comfortable to work 3 jobs, get no sleep, and then have a business on the side? I used to do that. I used to work graveyard, come home, go another job, and then go to the other job, and the other job's wondering why I'm tired, and they don't know that I have the other job, and then the other one's wondering why I'm late. Then I got let go of that one after a few months because I would run late because I didn't get enough rest, and I'm trying to juggle everything, and it's there's got to be a better way because I'm trading time for money. That's what I was. I was trading all that time to money, and I was how much can I make, right? Because I'm getting paid hourly here, hourly here, hourly here. At what point am I going to actually win? Because I'm not making more money. We're actually putting more effort myself. What if I make the same amount of effort, but then I can have money work for me?
Right.
That was my mentality. And I could start having businesses work for me. And then I'm making more now. I can do the same amount of effort, put the same amount of time. But now instead of getting back, back then it was what? $10, $13, $20. I can get back hundreds of thousands of dollars on an hourly basis.
Right.
And it just changes everything. And that's the mentality I think that changed for me.
Right.
Yeah.
I've learned that later in I won't say my 25s, when I around that time frame till now, I'm still applying, trying to apply that trying to take myself out of the business. So it's difficult to do because you're so used to
doing it all.
You're doing it all, the sales, doing the installs, doing pretty much all the errands, running around, pretty much like a chicken with its head off, You
want to have control. You think that's what it is? Us coming from that whole control, like you said, the respect and the control.
You want to have control because obviously the quality. You know what you're delivering, and once you put a different person into something that you already mastered into, it's kind of you already see all the mistakes that's happening, But as I learned, it takes time. You got to train.
And you're never gonna overcome that fear. I'll tell you this, I've heard this before, and I completely agree. Is that when you're a business owner, you're the business owner. So no one's gonna work as hard as you and your wife or significant other. Because and they're not supposed to. You're the business owner. So
most definitely.
Is there going to be mistakes? Yeah. Mistakes always happen. Mistakes happen with big corporations. So it's as a small business owner, they're inevitable. Imagine as a big corporations, they're going to happen. So the moment that you start more accepting that, you know what I mean? It's just going to allow you to grow because you accept the mistakes that are going to happen and you're willing to, get dirty, right? I mean, and get back up along with your team and the people that are there with you and say, hey, let's get back up. Let's get it. This happens. It's going to happen, but let's get better at it. And then let's try one more time. The same way you tried one more time, that same mentality is just, again, feeding the rest of your team the same thing. Hey, let's get back up. Let's do it again. Let's try and do better, become more efficient, more effective. And things are gonna happen, and the mistakes will happen. But then when you go back and you fix them, right? Then you already know now to avoid that mistake. And then obviously you want to, implement the things that need to be done in order to avoid those mistakes and to be more cost efficient, more effective when it comes to the job. And I think that's going to change everything. But it's a fear that you're not, you slowly overcome.
Right.
But how do you lose that fear? Kind of like when you start riding a bike, right? You're first with the two little other wheels and you won't let go of anybody. You want to make sure they're holding on to you.
Right.
But then once you let go, then you let go of the wheels later. Then, it's little by little that you start allowing yourself to grow by allowing others to get involved and try and duplicate you. And they're never going to be exactly you.
No.
But if they get to 80% of what you do, you're winning. They're already doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Right.
And so that's the biggest fear. I think a lot of young or small business owners fear is like, no one's going to do it as good as I am. Well, they're not. They're not supposed to. You're just going to have to be okay with not gaining everything yourself, not having control over everything yourself, just controlling as much as you can. And then the rest is under God's control. And that's it. When we talked about fear, I think for me, honestly, fear is like, I fear God. Like for me, it's like the biggest fear I have is, it's God. I always fear like I know I'm not in control of everything. I've been in situations in my life where God has showed me, hey, I told you you're not in control. Like, I'm here for you. And I came up on top. I'm here in front of you now because of that reason. And I think for me, it's just like, I grew up a fighter. I was the opposite of you. I grew up fighting for my respect and fighting for everything that I thought everybody owed me respect, porque no sabía inglés, que porque mi familia no sabía inglés, or porque, I was a little bit more brown than others, or I looked more like a car, like a box, they say cartón, than others. And it's crazy because, God changed that about me, and I think that's why, I think I know why I'm here today, and so I just fear that I'm not doing every day what I'm supposed to be doing,
Right.
In His eyes and Him seeing me, so I fear, the one day it's gonna come that I'm not breathing here on this earth, and that He sees me, and says you never paid attention, every chance I gave you, you never paid attention.
Right.
So I don't take it for granted, like every chance I get, and I've survived, right, from being in juvenile halls to, having a motorcycle accident, to being able to walk again, to losing everything financially twice in my life. Talk about the sky is falling. I have a couple friends who call me Chicken Little. And that's the sky is falling, right? And it's true. I mean, I was that guy. Like the sky is falling, and it fell. It literally did fall on me. But it's like those lessons are the ones that taught me. Like I don't fear any man, because I think I fought so much in my life that I'm just like, I don't fear anything, right? But I do fear God. So like you said about control, like I know God has control over everything, and so the health of my children, health of my wife, health of myself, health of my parents, health of my sisters, my nephews, my nieces, my cousins, people that I love and enjoy, friends. And so I know that I don't have that control. So like you just said, those are the things that you can't control. Those are the fears, right? That you're just like, I have no control over that. And so that's when you get humbled. Have you had those humbling moments in your life?
Now that you mention it, that is a great fear that I do have as well, where it's just the day that I am no longer here, what's gonna happen? What am I gonna leave behind? Because I would like to be prepared for that day, to come, but we will never know. You will never know.
That's why you got to show up daily.
Exactly. That's why I wake up every morning. I grind every day to be able to provide for my family and the team along. And it's just something I enjoy as well, where it's just I know I'm providing. I know I'm doing well for everyone around me. So everybody benefits in the long run.
Yeah. I think that's well, that's the biggest thing is what's going to happen the day that you're gone.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of people don't think that way, and a lot of business owners don't think that way.
I don't. Something I would hate is everything I worked for just to be
In a matter
lost.
of months.
Exactly.
In a matter of months.
A matter of months. What it took me 20, 30, 40, 40 years to do. But that's it's something that we do need to work and put it on paper.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's funny. I was having that conversation with one of my business partners that earlier about that I built wealth with, and we were talking about that, like how his uncle passed away. We both worked under him, and his uncle passed away, and he was trying to purchase the one thing that his uncle worked hard for. He worked very hard for this home. It had these waterfalls, and then these the Asian fishes and stuff like that. I don't know the name of them, but he had all that, and everything he worked for, right? Everything that he worked for, put together. In the moment he was gone, he wasn't. My partner wasn't able to save his home. I wasn't able to obtain his home.
Oh, wow.
He didn't have the finances through probate to obtain that home, and I know he would have gave everything he could to keep that, because that was what his uncle, who he loved so dearly, worked for. That was it. Everything, all the work that he did every day and showed up for was to have that home and to have that that space.
Mm-hmm.
And yet it went with him. Now someone else is enjoying it, but it goes to show you can't take life for granted. You gotta have everything strategically put together. You got to have your operations. You got to have your systems and procedures in place. You got to be able to have someone that knows them. So then that way your business survives tomorrow, the next day. Because guess what? You are going to be gone one day and you don't know when. And if you're not prepared, guess what? Everything you got up for and went to bed for late for, and everything you stressed about or had anxiety for, or almost felt like you had a heart attack, all those moments for nothing. For them to be gone in a matter of months, and then you leave your family with nothing. So what legacy is there in that? A lot of people think, I own a business. I'm a business owner. Yeah? Okay, how does it do when you're not around? I mean, if it's not there when you're not around, what's going to happen? There's your legacy.
Right.
What legacy? There is no legacy in that. One thing is the legacy of the person that you are, right? Your core values, my core values for our children, for their children to come, and so forth. The last name, people talk about the last name. I really don't. I feel like it's just God in general and our legacy. But yeah, the last name, let's just talk. So their children and their children. But if you don't leave something other than just that, then they're just going to continue in that brokenness. Right. You never fixed it. Right. You started to fix it, but you never actually fixed it. You never fixed that problem in your family. You have to fix it. You have to literally every day push to fix that problem.
Right.
Yeah, and it's not easy. And you're never done. Too. That's another thing. You're an entrepreneur. You're a business owner. You're never done. You think you're going to be done? You're never going to be done. So if you're looking for something where you're going to be able to be done and retire and go have some piña coladas, then go find something else. Go find a job where you can retire and live off of 10% of whatever you bring in, so that way you could go to another country and survive. Because that ain't going to happen here in the U.S.
Yeah, you're most definitely right about that. It is something that we all got to fix for, and especially as a Latin family.
Yeah,
it's the whole community is broken in one way or form. We're not financially literate to what's the proper word?
Yeah, well, to manage the money, right? And
Exactly.
to know how to leverage the money.
Exactly.
We're only taught to save the money.
Yeah, to save it and
pay everything cash.
Exactly.
So in case you lose it all, or in case it rains tomorrow, you pay everything cash.
Honestly, till the day of now, I try to invest every dollar I can. At the moment, you help me with my property, so that's step number one. And then the ones that are coming up in the future that I plan to purchase.
Yeah.
So I try to manage the funds strategically to be able to produce more for everyone.
Yeah. And then if anything ever happens, hey, that's always going to be there for your family.
Correct.
And people don't understand the properties that were there for us when we were born are still there right now. Not unless it was brought down. Not unless you were born in Vegas and they took down that building to build a new one. But it's the same thing. It's going to be there. It's going to exist. Now tell me something, Abraham. I know a lot of people don't know you here, but I know I learned this for you that you actually attended one of Grant Cardone's masterminds, or can you tell us a little bit about that or that experience, or how did you come about to doing that?
It was a business seminar. It was out in Arizona, in Temple, Arizona, where they're located.
How did you run into it?
Honestly, I've been following Grant for
like on social media.
Yeah, social media. I've known him for quite a bit, or actually follow his content for quite a bit of time, and it was back in 2023 that I just ran into a problem into the business where I needed to learn more about marketing. So one day, same as well, just going through social media, I came across to Grant's page, one of his ads for the summits that he offers. I started to do some research what it's about, etc. And I just told my wife, "Let's go." Like we need this, and it was just a quick decision. Book the hotels, get the tickets, etc. The kids, but I give them. That weekend, my mom she was able to take care of our kids that weekend. We went out there on a Thursday. We actually drove out there on a Thursday afternoon. Got out there Thursday night, checked in, and then the seminar started Friday morning, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Came back Monday, but yeah, it was a a lot of information. The seminars. He does a very great, very great. He does a very great presentation with all the speakers that come in. And my biggest takeaway, honestly, it's the funnel. The funnel. Everything needs to come in, and it's just everything it spreads out with the funds. Marketing as well. You got to get attention. You got to put yourself out there. So I started doing that, applying. And actually, it's funny because on the second day of the seminar, I was actually working out a deal inside the seminar, and I was closing the deal because I was applying. But
were learning
exactly.
So right
we're learning. So I was like, I have this job. I have this job potential client coming in. And I wanted to close. So I kept pushing that day, and I closed that day as well. So that helped out a lot. But honestly, Grant, he's doing a very, very great job with the seminars.
And that really helped you and open your eyes
Most
for marketing
definitely.
purposes.
I put applying the things I needed the most at that time, which was the marketing, attention, and that's what I was working on since November till today. I'm working on marketing, attention. Now, since I met you, it's been more into the business, behind the business itself. But it's just.
So when you started on 23, you do grants. You do grants summit, and then. Thereafter, 24. Obviously, you come to
it's a year.
About a year, huh?
Yeah, it's a year now. In November, actually, of 2023, it's a year now.
Oh, okay. From being with Grant.
Correct.
Okay, and I was like, not with me, but then you came and you ran into me. How? And then let's talk about that too, like the whole, because obviously we talked about Grant, so you got the marketing aspect of it. Then you went and you attacked for your business.
Correct.
Started marketing, and then what led you to meet me, and obviously how'd you find out about me, and then how did all this come about?
So
I want people that don't know your story to know.
The way I've it was a Sunday. I can remember clear as day. It was a Sunday night, 10, 11, one of your live sessions on Instagram, and you were talking about business, and I knew I started going through your feeds as well. That what exactly you were doing, and at that time I was wanting to look for a mentor. I really wanted to get into the mentorship because I know I needed more guidance. I felt like in my business I was at a plateau, or like I was capped out, on that level. Mm-hmm. So I just had to find something else where I can overcome that, or get some guidance where to walk around it. Mm-hmm. And I just started going through your feed, and I follow Alba Preciado. I follow him, and I know I right away I started kind of linking that you guys were that you
we
guys
knew each other. Huh?
we knew each other. I was like, oh man. So and then you're in the Inland Empire as well, so it made it even more easier for me just to make a quick decision and just interact with you.
Yeah, everybody thinks everything. Everybody thinks everyone's in Hollywood and in Miami, but no, we're in the Inland Empire as well. So, okay, so that made it easier for you to like, hey, my business is in the Inland Empire.
Correct.
He's in the Inland Empire. Let me reach out to him.
Correct.
And then I remember, you reached out, and then I reached out to you, and then we made it happen. And then you came out to one of my 5K masterminds, right?
Right.
After that.
Yeah, that was I believe maybe a month into knowing you.
Yeah.
We did a business together with the
mastermind.
With the
Came into the
mastermind.
mastermind.
I came in with you, exactly what I needed. Just a small group of people, direct communication with you, one-on-one. And it honestly it helped us allow inside our business knowing you and putting those strategies in place on where they need to be.
Yeah. And then your wife obviously came with you, which was a big thing for me because I was like, you guys need to align.
Yes.
Right. It was like a lot of people don't realize that sometimes there's confusions or there's things that you're going back and forth.
Yes, my wife, she's been my number one supporter since day one. She knows all the headaches. She knows I'm a pain in the butt on her end, but I rely a lot on her as she relies a lot on me, and she's honestly my number one supporter behind. She does all my administration behind the desktop. So I've trained her to the point where she can do it on her own now. Mm-hmm. I don't need to be on top of her, but she needs to check in with me on what's going in, what's going out, etc.
Yeah, and I think I think that obviously you guys both shared Grant's Summit together, and then you guys both shared my mastermind together as well.
Yes.
So what was the biggest takeaway for both of you? Obviously she's not here, so you'll talk for her, but from one to the other, obviously from the summit to, you take away from both, obviously.
Right.
But obviously the summit was how many people compared to the mastermind?
Honestly,
right?
if I'm not mistaken, usually like around 500 people.
Yeah.
At the business summit with Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
You go meet a lot of business owners around the world. I saw people coming from Europe to his summit. Mm-hmm. I was very, very surprised on the amount of people coming in. Mm-hmm. But most definitely a very, very good job for Grant. Yeah. And with you, it's just the alignment, husband and wife. That's a big part where my wife and I need to work on communication. A big problem on my end, communication, as well. Strategies on social media, which is number one, where we tend to where we meet our potential customers in future for the future.
Yeah. What did she tell you when you guys took off from here? Obviously, this was not a setting of 500 people. For those of you that are listening, the masterminds are 10 max. We don't do more than 10 people for the same reason, because we have to work with you individually, and we want to be able to give that attention to you. So what was the thing, your guys' takeaway on that, and hers, when you guys took off from here after the mastermind? Honestly, and the reason I'm asking is I am really interested in this and understanding what the takeaway was from Grant. From Grant's, obviously, with the amount of people.
We enjoyed
being
it.
More intimate here.
We enjoyed it because it's more intimate. It's honestly we feel more comfortable, I want to say, raising our hand and having our questions asked directly in instead of a whirlpool, pretty much of a bigger more people.
Yeah.
So it's just you get that attention. And honestly, I've always wanted to find a mentor where I can talk to you directly and just be a phone call away, email away, and knowing that I will get the response that I'm looking for as well on my end as well if there's ever any need of help.
Yeah. So do you think for you the biggest thing was the fact that you're able to you want to speed up the process, you want to go faster?
Correct. I want to speed up the process from someone that already pretty much made the mistakes already, and I can avoid the mistakes because I'm still in that era where I can avoid all these mistakes and implement the things that you've pretty much gone through already.
That's good, man. I really do appreciate you and your wife having faith, and in me. And, I'm pretty sure that me being Mexican like yourself had nothing to do with it. with the decision making. But no, I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to help you guys and believing in yourselves more than anything. Because if you didn't believe in yourselves, you wouldn't even be here today.
Right.
And I think a lot of people, don't understand that. That it's a two-way stream, right? We both have to put in. I have to direct traffic, and then you guys have to take action and drive the vehicle. If you don't drive the vehicle, we're never going to get to the destination.
Right. That's very important. You got to take action, honestly, and accept the pressure. What's going on? Even till this day, we still got some work to do with you. That's pending as well. I'm working on it, pushing on it. So it's just you got to take on that action. If you really want to change, you really need to put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah, and I think one thing with you is that you accept the pressure. Like you just said, you drove to Arizona just to go meet Grant because you needed the help. Like you're like, I need the help. You committed to coming, to be in my coaching program. You committed to coming to the mastermind, and bringing your wife and then you took action. Like you said, you don't hesitate, you don't wait. You're just like, you know what? I'm not going to procrastinate. I need this. I need to speed up the process, and I need to take the pressure. And then what happened? We added more pressure. And what was happening during that pressure? Like everything was falling apart.
Oh,
right?
yeah. During the purchase of the home.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Your
everything
first
went
property. Your first investment ever.
Yeah, first investment. Anything you can think of went wrong. Work wise, family, wife, everything. It was crazy. Honestly, it was very it was a lot of pressure. I was pretty much sleeping with my eyes open, just thinking about what's gonna happen, why, and I never got that why. I just
gotta push through.
I just pushed through everything. What needed to be fixed got fixed. If it came out of pocket, came out of pocket, etc. But sales went down too. It was very dramatic. Yeah. But luckily we went through it. We closed escrow. Now things are coming back into play how they were before, which is very I want to say things have their way of coming back,
Yeah.
So
it's all temporary. That pain, I always tell people, you're gonna accept the pressure, accept the pain. It's temporary. Once you get through it, I guarantee you, you're gonna go back and go, man, I made it through. I pushed it. I didn't quit. And you didn't quit. You could have just said, you know what, never mind. So many people do that. And what if you wouldn't have quit? What if you get to that point to where you don't quit and you didn't? And look at now you're home, not only a homeowner, but you have a pool, you have a spa, which I still got to go make it to. But it's crazy. Like you have exactly what. Not only do you have a home, but you have a home in the neighborhood your wife wanted. You have a pool, which you guys wanted. You have everything that you wanted. You accomplished it in a matter of months.
It's funny because she never seen the home until the day that we got the keys.
That's crazy.
She never saw the home. It was just the day that we saw the home. It was just my father-in-law and I. My father-in-law, he loved the home since day one. Yeah. And so I think that what made my wife feel very satisfying about the purchase is that my father-in-law he liked the home from aesthetic wise, pretty much how it is. So it's just fun. It's just ridiculous. Every other home that we saw, she wanted to see, but not that one.
And that's the one that and it's crazy because that's the one that met everything that she wanted. So,
correct.
So I'm glad, man. I'm happy for you, brothers. Look, where can people find you on social media or your company? And obviously you do kind of give them a little bit of what you do. You can look into that camera there and let them know what you do, where they can find you on the socials. So, and just gonna let them know a little bit about yourself and the company.
On social media, you can find us under Vista Nueva Windows. We do window and door renovations. We do glassworks as well, glass railing, shower doors. That's pretty much the bigger trades that we do. We do smaller things, services on windows. But honestly, feel free to contact us. Don't hesitate. We'll come out scheduled. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Yeah, so Vista Nueva Windows. So in English is I'm just saying that. But New Vision is what it stands for, right? Correct. New Vision Windows and doors, and they're all glass. So, man, thank you for coming out and thank you for being on the podcast. And the last thing I always ask is what Ignite, right? I have Ignite, and Ignite has a Y in it, in the name, and the Y is what keeps you going, right? What's that why that you know inside of you, like what's that thing that keeps your fire lit?
I just have to prove myself. I don't know why, but I just need to prove myself that I can do better, better for myself and everyone around me. So I believe that's my why. I need to prove myself. I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable where I'm at the moment. I just need to come out of that comfort zone, keep pushing, pushing, and pushing. And even when I get to that level, I'm still not gonna be comfortable. I know I'm gonna keep pushing and pushing. So that would be my why. But don't feel comfortable in where you're at. Always try to do more. And I always been that person that's always willing to do more for everyone. And now it's just now with the family, it's you just gotta push every day, the most as you can.
And just for the record, I want to go back to, I know I keep going back to it, but Grant Cardone, I mean, who I enjoy watching and I've enjoyed being in his courses as well and with his people. And where would you, I guess, kind of grade and obviously there's no comparison as an individual where he's at and where I'm at, the years that we've been doing what we're doing, and obviously there's a difference in age. But more or less, you've been to both. Let's just say living rooms, right? You've been to both places. So, what's your takeaway? What is it that, if you can tell someone which one of the two to go to and why? Which is obviously you mentioned both. Both were valuable for you.
Yeah, both were very valuable. I believe if with Grant, I believe it's bigger money. You gotta to be in the room with him. It's bigger money. Mm-hmm. So to have direct communication with that, unfortunately at the moment I'm not prepared for that type of movement. Mm-hmm. In the future, I would like to be in the same room with him, get a handshake, talk to him. I would like to do that. Mm-hmm. With you, honestly, it's more. Like I just go back to the intimate, how intimate I can be with you, how close that I can gain communication with you. It's a very easy, very very accessible. I probably don't even bother you as much as I should.
Oh no, you shouldn't. No.
But I mean, most of my problems I deal with them. I know what the correct decisions are. Bigger problems, obviously, I do need some guidance on bigger decisions.
Yeah, so, and you reach out for that. So, and that's one of the beauties, right? Of I think that's what I was trying to get at. It's just the proximity. That's what they call it.
Correct.
Intimacy, but it's not intimate because it's more the proximity of being together and being able to help you. Well, yeah, brother. Look, appreciate you coming on, and I think overall, just. I look forward to a lot of the success that's coming your way.
Thank you.
There's no mistake why you went to Grant and then you ended up with, Diego Alba, and you went to the 10X and then you're now with Ignite. There's no mistakes. God makes no mistakes, and I think you're on the right path. And I know that you're on the right path. So
thank you.
Guys, make sure you look out for this episode. I want to thank Vista Nueva for showing up today. Mr. Vista Nueva Windows. And, make sure you look out for this podcast and the next one coming because they're all fire.
Thank you.